This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Blue, blue. Yeah. There you go, everybody. You can see Blue. Blue is still alive. You know, he's just isn't on camera as much. Oh, you can hear him. You hear that? You hear that? Listen. Oh man. Oh boy. You like that, Blue? You must like it. Alright, well there's the mascot Blue. Say hello. Say hello to everybody. Oh boy, what are you growling at? Oh man, he's upset. Is it me? Go get him, Blue! Go get him! Yeah. Yeah. Well, how's everybody doing? Thank you, Rita Schaefer. Zozo. Wow, we got a good 49 people here tonight. The coolest 49, though, right? Or maybe it's because it's so early. You know, people said, hey, come on earlier. So, give it a shot. Awesome. Well, I'm just chilling out. Got 3 different stories to go over. Colleen and Misty, the genealogists, are coming on Friday. So that should be fun. Alright. I mean, it's weird. I don't like getting started when there's only 58 people watching. Yeah, it's a public link. Now there's 56. Huh. Well, maybe you guys can go out and share it really quick. I'll give you 3 minutes. Only 58 people. Well, who cares if he's live, Sarita? Who gives a shit? Wow, we just lost some more. The Grifter. I don't only... The people that watch the normal days of the week aren't solely Delphi people. Yeah. That's okay. So no notifications, huh? Wow. Maybe I'll make it unlisted for a second and then switch it back and see what happens. What happens if I make it unlisted? Done. Save it. Then go back to it and then make it public. And does that now send out notifications? Let's see. $79. You know, it's funny. Today Biden was giving a speech, and he said, what did he say? Some days I don't even remember that I'm president. And I'm like, no truer words have ever been said. Even though he said it as a joke, it was actually accurate. It was weird. You should go hear it. It's hilarious. Unbelievable. All right. Anyways, I'll go in and get started here. Yep, that is the truth. Hey, Stacy, how's it going? The nicest human in history, Stacy Galloway. Yeah, you haven't got a second one? Well, I don't know if you would get a second one. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Yep. All right, Sarah Beth Colagras, who unfortunately we don't have the use of the face masks anymore on Streamlabs. Okay, I'm just going to start off with this shorter one here. Some of these are just solved, by the way. So the first one is Charles Robert Harden. He's not in the thumbnail or anything. So this is back in the day here, 1986. An apparent murder victim whose bound body was discovered by campers at Canyon Lake, August 26th. This is in Texas. Let's see. Canyon Lake, Texas. Let's see what that is. I rebooted, so some of the stuff isn't open. You know, it was weird. I was watching streaming shows last night, and it kept sort of buffering. So I'm kind of wondering if it was not YouTube, but a Comcast kind of deal. Because this morning I woke up and everything was fine. So I don't know what that means. Come on. Okay, so we're going to go to Canyon Lake, Texas. Okay, so somewhere in this area here. Has been identified as that of a Houston man, Lieutenant Rudy Rubio. Let's see. Comal County Sheriff investigators said Friday afternoon the victim is Charles Robert Harden, 56. Hardin's last known address 2 years ago was 1602 Turnpike, Houston, Rubio said. The victim's body, which was bound hand and foot, almost like hogtied, was discovered inside a tent by campers at Jacobs Creek Park. Okay, and that's probably, yeah, that's Jacobs Creek. So right around in this area, looks like. Wait, let's see what that sign, what that says. That's Lake Point Resort. Yeah. Yeah, it's just somewhere right around in this area. You know, that's just 35 years ago, so probably changed the name. But just to get a look of the area, a little bit like this. And then there would have been some tents put up somewhere on the campground itself. There it is. It's right there. Jacobs Creek Park. That little green symbol says it right there. Or it's just Jacobs. Like plural, not. Is there any way to look at it? Right there. It's the closest we can see. It's right through there, though. All right. The victim's body, which was bound hand and foot, was discovered inside a tent by campers at Jacobs Creek Park. He had apparently been in the tent for several days, according to investigators' reports. The cause of death has not been released by investigators. However, a press statement released Friday afternoon by the Comal County Sheriff's Office stated that the investigation will still continues in the apparent homicide of Mr. Hardin. Sheriff's officials have released a composite drawing of a man they believe may be involved in or know something about the death. And then there was another. He was strangled. Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $1,000 for 1 week only for information leading to the arrest and indictment of the person or persons responsible for the following crime. On the morning of August 26, 1986, campers at Jacobs Creek Park on Canyon Lake discovered the body of 56-year-old Charles Robert Harden, believed to be a drifter whose last known address 2 years ago was 1602 Turnpike in Houston. Hardin's partially decomposed body was discovered in a tent where the victim was found bound hand and foot. Strips of bed sheets were found wrapped around his throat. A large autopsy, there it is up there. A large Doberman pincer dog was guarding the campsite. Autopsy reports showed that Hardin had been dead for about 6 days and that asphyxiation due to strangulation was the cause of death. Witnesses said a blue four-door 1983 to 84 Chevrolet Celebrity automobile was seen in the area on August 25th, 1 day before the body was discovered, but several days after the victim was believed to have died. All right, so that was 1986. And then today we got this. Quaker City man arrested in 1986 homicide that occurred in Texas. There goes my Streamlabs bots. And this is the lowest number of people I've ever seen in here. Like, it's like when I first started or something. Yeah, that'll be brutal. A Quaker City man has been arrested for the 1986 homicide that occurred in Texas, Ohio. Attorney General David, Texas, Ohio, it's a place. Attorney General David Yost of Guernsey County Sheriff Jeffrey D. Payden said in a press release. Mark Gatton, 57, became a suspect in a cold case. So he must have only been around, gosh, like 20 years old. Became a suspect in a cold case investigation initiated by the Texas Rangers, a division within that state's Department of Public Safety. In March, the Rangers reviewed the 1986 death, so just 3 months ago, of the 56-year-old Charles Robert Harden, which occurred near Canyon Lake, Texas. Evidence in the case led investigators to Gatton and a second suspect. I was kind of wondering about, because how would you get a grown man hogtied by yourself? That'd be pretty difficult. Tracy Loy, 56, is how old the other one. So at the time, those two, they were like 19, 20, something like that. And they killed a guy that was, I mean, what's ironic, right? Like, Mark, let's see, where is the, well, no, we go back to the article. Hold on a second. Yeah, he's 56, right? When he was killed. And it's amazing because these guys were arrested at exactly the same age as he was when he was killed. Right? So we're talking 35 years ago. So they were, 21, 22, 19 to 21, something like that. But this Tracy Loy is 56 now, and that's exactly the age of the victim. The combination of modern forensic technology and old-fashioned detective work can solve cold cases even when there are many years and miles separating the culprits and their crimes. The Texas Rangers requested the assistance of the Bureau of Criminal Investigation's Cold Case Unit, on May 26 and awaits extradition to Texas. Our office is pleased to have participated in the collaborative effort. I wonder if they found DNA on some of those, the ligatures, or the bindings. So there you go. That one was solved. It doesn't say DNA, but it says modern forensic technology. That's usually what that means. And I guess it's also possible they obtained a fingerprint or something like that off of an item that they weren't able to do back then. Man, I spent like 4 hours putting this together. There's only 116 people watching. I don't know. I might just come back on later or something. That's like half. It almost makes you think nobody got the regular notification. It's pretty weird. Well, it's just a waste of time, though. You know what I'm saying, Zozo? I mean, you spend all that time and there's only 100 and... Yeah, well, if you don't ever get notifications, make sure that you... There, let me hit the button again. Oh, jeez, come on, Stacy. and wanted to do a big donation for you. Thanks for all your wonderful things you do. Oh, that's about the nicest thing ever. I think that's the largest on-show donation I've ever seen. Our family got together and wanted to do a big donation for you. Thank you for all your wonderful things you do. Gray, love you, my wonderful friend, and thank you to the lovely Freak family for being so fantastic and generous. I love you all so much. I love spending time here with you all. Well, I mean, that's just... that's so kind. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I don't even know what to say. Now I just feel like, you know, just awesome. Now, anyways, thank you very much, Stacey. And don't forget, everybody, on Friday, Colleen and Misty are coming on to discuss that prior case that was just solved. And anyways, thank you very much. I don't even... No, using the word anyways isn't the right one, because it's not anyways, like, oh, you know. But thank you very much. Yeah. Well, love you too, Stacy. Everybody, you know, your whole family is really nice and kind. Yeah, it's been a while since Colleen was on. What is what? Kara, what are you talking about? What is this? What is this? What the hell is this? I don't even know what that means. What is this? Prior, so I can watch it and then watch Friday. Yeah, well, I just did a show the other night where they Identifinder solved a case, so go look that one up. I think it's Hansen, maybe. Yeah, Julie Ann Hansen. It's from the 7th. So you got to go back and watch it. Yeah. And we actually covered the case in December, believe it or not. And then it was covered just randomly. I mean, not covered, solved randomly. Without me having any idea. Even though I have a connection with Colleen and Identifinders, right? Like I just randomly covered it. Because we cover so many cases that eventually some of them get solved after. But you wouldn't know that if you talk to anybody in the Delphi world, because they say, that's the only case Gray covers, which is absolutely the farthest thing from reality. I would say I've probably covered it more, obviously, than a lot of cases, you know, but, you know, in general, I cover 6 nights a week, 3 or 4 cases a night, which is like 24 different cases every single week than the Delphi case. But they always say the same thing because you'll say it to them. No, anyway, that was very generous. Thank you. Yeah, it was just neat that we covered it. Probably the most amazing one ever was... Hold on, let me try to remember it. Yeah, Margaret Peggy Beck. So there's a case out of Colorado, Margaret Peggy Beck. Okay, we covered that case. And we just talked about it on a night. Let's say it was a Tuesday. Let's see how weird this is. We covered Margaret Peggy Beck, a 1963 cold case. Covered it on, let's say, a Tuesday. Then the next morning, I actually deleted the video for some other reason. And so I put out a edited version where it just had that case because I just wanted that portion on there. And so I did a premiere. You know how you do a premiere and people can watch it? Well, I was doing a premiere of Margaret Peggy Beck, and I think I can't remember who it was, but they said, "Gray, have you checked out?" They did have DNA in that case, and I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me! You're kidding me! Wow!" So they do have DNA, and so I looked it up while I was watching the premiere with everybody else. I typed it in, and unbeknownst to the person who just told me that there was DNA, the case was just solved 2 hours before. I mean, I literally typed it in, and it said, DNA solves 1963 cold case. But the DNA had been known about for years. That's what she was referring to. And then all of a sudden, boom, it was solved. And so we covered it, solved the next day as I'm doing a premiere. Like, what are the odds of that? A 1963 Girl Scout, a girl that was killed in her tent. I think her tent mate was sick, and somebody went in and killed her in her tent. Right around other people, too. But it was probably one of the weirdest moments, because we were all just going, "Are you kidding me? Look at this." Because somebody just said, "Oh, yeah, they have DNA." And I think they even put a link, and I saw it was like 1990 something. They said that they did have DNA. So I just went online just for the hell of it, and it said the case was solved, and I was just kind of like, what? And then I looked at it said an hour ago is when it was posted. So that was one of those weird moments. We've had a few kind of crazy things like that, for sure. Anyways, let's see. I am now going to move on to the next case. And I don't know if more people... Well, it was 137. All right, which one do I want to do next? Okay. I'm going to do one from here in Portland. And it makes me think, hey, you know, that one we were just talking about the other night. Cindy... I think it's Cindy, right? Yeah, Cindy Lynn Powers. Makes you kind of think, I wonder if they'll do something with that one. So I'm kind of looking forward to talking to the family and maybe getting a hold of the detective. I talked to somebody today, well, somebody had identified her, and now they're gonna see if there's something that they can do for it. I mean, I will actually cover the whole thing. I mean, I don't give a damn if I have to dig into my PayPal account, whatever it is, but it'd be so amazing to pay for the finding out who the killer is in that case. And Cindy Lynn Powers, if you remember, she was at her uncle's house, 9:30 at night, walked to a bus stop, probably took 10 minutes. Maybe the bus got there right around 10, let's just say. Then she took that bus couple miles to 82nd Street, transferred to a bus heading south. That bus drives like 10 miles to Clackamas Town Center. She works at a Denny's. She had her Denny's outfit on. She got dropped off at the Clackamas Town Center, according to the bus driver, which makes me think that she actually was abducted either in that parking lot or walking into maybe an employee's entrance or somewhere around the parking lot of the Denny's. And then her body was found 3/4 of a mile south of Denny's in what is now a Lowe's back, in the back of it. It used to be a furniture store, and there's absolutely no residential homes or anything. And 11 o'clock at night, 10:45, 11, there would be absolutely nobody there to hear it. And it's likely she was sexually assaulted. And so that would be a great one to get solved. All right, so here's another one. I had to go into newspapers.com, doesn't really do very well. So I'm just going to bring this stuff up right here. It doesn't do well on Oregon sites. It does great on everything else. But I did. This is what's strange. So just kind of keep this in mind. This guy, Robert A. Plympton, pilot with the Army Air Corps. I mean, he was in World War II here. Okay, and this guy is the father of somebody. All right, but that might give you an idea of what he may have looked like, this person, when he was younger. And then I'm going to go to 1969 here. And that same individual right there, 2 Salem women were killed in Troutdale, Oregon, and a Troutdale man injured in a 2-car crash 4 miles east of here on Highway 18. Killed were Maxine T. Bush, 51, and Marie Catherine Pendergraft, 35. So 51-year-old and a 35-year-old. And then Robert A. Plympton, 52, of Troutdale, who officers said was driving the other auto, suffered a possible rib fractures. So again, this is the same person we just saw. He probably at this point is 40-something. Well, no, it said how old he is. 52 at this point. So he's 52 in 1969. All right, then we are moving forward now. Then this is 1980. So police were seeking the killer Wednesday of a 19-year-old Mount Hood Community College student whose partially clad body was found Wednesday morning on a shrub-covered slope abutting a campus parking lot. Let's see. That's this one. And this is Mount Hood Community College right here. Now here's all the different parking lots. So it could easily be, look how that's a slope on that parking lot. You know, doesn't look like that's a slope there. Definitely could be right here. That actually kind of seems a little bit more likely than way over there. Let me just put one here. Yeah. Well, that's what they're doing, Paulette. That's what they're doing, all the old ones. Police identified the woman as Barbara Mae Tucker, who lived alone in the Ash Mountain Apartments at 2950 Northeast 23rd Street, a student housing complex near campus. And that's actually just right there. So she lived right in this little unit there. Ms. Tucker's body, bearing multiple head injuries, was found about 8 a.m. by another student, said Sergeant Larry Ward, an investigator with the Gresham Police Department. Police added that there was evidence at the death scene that Ms. Tucker had struggled with her assailant. Yeah, maybe there was some marks on her arms or something, or underneath her fingernails. A spokesman for the state medical examiner office said the body was nude from the waist down. Dr. William Brady, state medical examiner, said an autopsy would be performed Thursday. Miss Tucker was working towards a vocational associate degree in business management at the 2-year college, said Ed Sawyers, one of her instructors. Police said Miss Tucker did not intend to Tuesday night business class, credit procedures which met from 7 to 10 one night each week, and that officers were looking for anyone who might have seen the woman shortly after 7 p.m. Well, it wouldn't have been shortly before 7 p.m. Oh, it did say that, shortly before 7 p.m. Miss Tucker was said to be a dedicated student who rarely missed classes. Sawyer, who taught the evening class and also was Miss Tucker's faculty advisor in the Distributed Education Clubs of America, said she was an outgoing, intelligent woman who excelled in school. He said she worked during the summer at both Sears and Jeffco and intended to work as a retail buyer for a large store after she graduated this spring. She was a real terrific kid, he said. She originally came to Mount Hood because she wanted to play basketball, but the sports began to interfere with her schoolwork, so she gave it up. Sawyers, who said he knew Miss Tucker's family, said she had many friends on campus. Police found Miss Tucker's purse and a few books near her body, which was found at the south end of the main campus in the area known as Lake Parking Lot. Let's see where that is. So maybe it is over here. Maybe it's like right there. Okay. No. So let's listen to that again. Police found Miss Tucker's purse and a few books near her body, which was found at the south end of the main campus, so called because of an artificial lake nearby. Okay. Well, is that the campus? Oh, maybe that's the campus. That's the artificial lake. And then look at that. So that is close to that. Okay, so this is the main campus over here. Yeah, Mount Hood Community College. Okay, so that's the main campus. Parking. And then, man, I bet you that's it right there. Because I think even in that image that we're looking at, if you look on this other, just here, see how that's really steep? And there's some trees at the top there. That's what makes me think that that could be it. And it is south of the main campus. And also near the lake that they're talking about. See? Little pond right there, and that's the closest parking spot. There's one over here, but it doesn't have the slope on it. Yep. It's either that one or I'm pretty sure. I would bet money that that's it. Right there. Yeah. But don't let Stacy's donation discourage the rest of you, okay? Because we got to keep on building up. We were quite a bit behind this month, and we got to get going because we're going to be doing some big things at the end of the month and throughout the year. You know, to me that was like, okay, cool. That'll make up for 3 or 4 of those other nights. Yes, join. And yes, if you join the channel, your channel membership also goes. The donations support my channel and the charities. We go over this every single time. Last month was the best month we ever had, and that's why I was able to donate $4,000 for the channel that night, right?
And the thing is, you know, the freaks are the ones that, I mean, like I said before, there'd be no donations being made if it wasn't for you guys. Because there's no income coming in from YouTube. It's like maybe $400 a month for the ad revenue. It's horrible. Thank you, Jessica Schubach and Claudia Neubauer. You know what? Hey, Claudia, I'm looking forward to a trial. The Ma Winnie or even the other, what's her face? Draconis. Man, I would love to, we got to cover that one if it goes to trial. Don't you think? That one will be just freaking amazing because we covered that from the beginning and mapped everything out, everything. All right, here we go. So police found Miss Tucker's purse and a few books near her body, which was found at the south end of the main campus in the area known as Lake Parking Lot, so called because of an artificial lake nearby. Yes, that reservoir. Sawyer said the parking lot was on a direct path between her evening class and her apartments. Well, let me see. So here's her apartment. That's weird. Okay, so on direct path, there's no classes over here though. So that doesn't, there's the pond. So she'd be going over there. Oh, I see what it is. I bet you she lives here, and then you walk like this, and then take this path over to a class. That's how she would normally do it. She probably wouldn't have walked down a highway over here, you know, or, you know, so maybe she walked across right here, and then like that. Kind of makes sense. Thank you, Kathy Friedenmaker. Hey, I've been saying it right every time, right? Friedenmaker and Play-Doh. Thank you. Yeah. Well, if I had $1 million, I wouldn't even have people, you know, support the channel. I would just be doing it. I'd probably just build up a fund and just do shows and, you know. If I had $5 million, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd have a $1 million kind of like a, I don't know what you call it, a fund just sitting there waiting to help people, and I would just do shows. It'd be freaking amazing. And just, you know, get interest from the other 4 and do whatever I need to be doing. Although interest sucks, so it would have to be like a dividend-paying stock that was very secure. Thanks, LM. Oh, and Angela Vincent. Yeah, well, we're doing pretty good with what we've only been able to, you know, we've only, well, I say only, but our channel's only has done $40,000, and I think it does help tremendously to these organizations, right? It helps them buy things, gas, whatever they're using it for. But everybody here knows exactly what I do on the channel. But instead, I still get these hate emails and comments all over the place. Oh, thank you. Every amount, like literally, here's the thing, everybody. If we had 300 people watching and everybody sent in $1, it would just be exactly the same as a night where 6 people sent in $50. You know, so it doesn't matter the amount. All right, so thank you very much. Appreciate it. What $5 to you might be 50 to somebody else. Oh, the total number. Well, like on the last day of the month, we do pretty well. I don't know the exact record or anything, but I think that's the largest in-stream donation. by one individual. I think there might have been one matching it. I don't remember. Long time ago. Thank you, Miss L. Rodriguez. Right. So the police cordoned off a large area near where the body was found and launched an extensive search for clues. Miss Tucker, a 1978 graduate of Cleveland High School, was the daughter of Albert and Louise Tucker of 7505 Southeast Milwaukee Avenue. And see, that's actually sort of near where that other crime was, actually. Thank you, Liz Parsons. You know, that's interesting, now that I think about it. This is 1980. That other case is 19... Let me show you. I was looking at it just generally yesterday for a little bit. But look, this is the other one. That's not far away at all. I mean, this is... let's do miles. Yeah, it's 6 miles away. Same part of town, southeast area. It's actually the same distance from the house to Denny's here, but look at that. Wouldn't that be crazy? Is there any similarities? A little bit, a little bit. It was 2 years before Cindy was murdered in the same part of town. Huh. Very interesting. Miss Tucker's death is the second murder connected with the college in the past 2 months. Still unsolved is the late November bludgeoning death of the college's business manager, Robert C. Scott. His body was found November 20th. And wait, how was she killed here? Wasn't she bludgeoned to death? Or strangled? I can't remember now. Let me hold on. I got so many cases in my head right now. Oh, multiple head injuries. Right, like she was bludgeoned to death. And then if we go back to... Hold on. This is the case from the other night. Cindy Powers, 1982. We have leads following up on... Da, 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 da. I'm pretty sure she was bludgeoned to death. Her body was found behind Levitt's furniture store. Miss Powers had died at least 1 day before of multiple head injury. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Oh, whoa. That is crazy right there. Look at that. 1 day before of multiple head injuries. Oh boy. That's some crazy crap right there. I mean, that's a real similar MO right there, isn't it? Both sexually assaulted. Let's see. She was born in Fall City, surviving or... Well, I don't need to read that part. Let's get to the... That was a different case. 1980, January 18th. Now they have a drawing of somebody. Murdered, co-ed, cried for help but to no avail. Barbara Mae Tucker, the Gresham student who was murdered Tuesday night, apparently sought help from several passing motorists. Oh, listen to this. apparently sought help from several passing motorists in the hope of frightening away her attacker, Gresham police said Thursday. Miss Tucker, 19, was murdered while on her way to an evening class. See, it's also in the evening. The other case was 9:30 at night. This is 7 at night. Same age range. Let's see. Class. Is there more down below here? Oh, yeah. At Mount Hood Community College, authorities said she had been sexually assaulted. Gresham Police Sergeant Larry Ward said several witnesses had been interviewed who believed they saw Miss Tucker running down a street near the campus trying to stop passing cars. Man. We believe there probably were several cars she tried to flag down, Ward said. One witness we talked to said she saw somebody matching Miss Tucker's description running down Kane Street. Okay, let's get that. Okay, so that's that street right in between. Okay, so I wonder, let me just get down here. Is there a slope right off of here? That's too steep. But, you know, I mean, who knows? Maybe that is the... So that's Kane Street. I thought it was over there, but man, maybe it's... Yeah, it could be anywhere right around in here, but we're in the ballpark, anyways. We believe there probably were several cars she tried to flag down, Ward said. One witness we talked to said she saw somebody matching Miss Tucker's description running down Kane Street between her apartment and the campus, waving her hands and trying to stop cars. There was another person who didn't see her but apparently heard her scream. Ward said police were trying to contact anyone who might have been seen driving by. You'd think that would be enough to scare somebody away, right? By the campus. It might have been Miss Tucker. He said no one interviewed so far actually saw the attack. I guess there's a lot of weird things that go on out there at the college, he said. Apparently it wasn't that unusual to see someone running down the street and trying to stop cars. Thank you, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Police released a drawing of the suspected killer right there that was produced Thursday by a department artist. The man was said to be between 20 and 25 years old and weigh about 185 pounds. He was seen wearing a light-colored stocking cap and a dark blue nylon ski jacket. Descriptions were provided by witnesses who were near the shrub-covered area where Miss Tucker was killed. Ward said she lived alone in an apartment near the campus and was believed to have been attacked while walking to a business class that began at 7:15. Dr. William Brady, state medical examiner, said an autopsy he performed Thursday showed that Miss Tucker died almost immediately after she suffered multiple blows on the head from a heavy object. He said his findings did not conflict with the police theory that she died on her way to the evening class. It was obviously a case of sexual assault. There were no indications of torture or mutilation. Brady said, adding that she had not been strangled, as had been reported earlier. Miss Tucker's body, a purse, and some books were found about 8 a.m. Wednesday at the south end of the main campus in an area known as the lake parking lot. So called because of a man-made lake nearby. Okay. So, I wonder if it's this parking lot, actually, now that that sort of makes more... I'm going to move this. I didn't even see that for some reason. And that's right off of Kane Street. Here's the parking lot right near the lake, and that would be absolutely in the line walking to campus. Alright, so I think that's going to be it. Let's see what we got right around in. Oh yeah. So probably right there. I wouldn't doubt it at all if this was the slope that they were looking right in there, and just in the morning somebody found her. Hey, what happened to the emojis? The boom one didn't pop out quite right. Let me try my... Okay, it worked for me. Oh, really? Weird. Huh. Yeah, so I think this is it right there. I'm going to switch it. And see, I don't care if I'm wrong. I like to be right, but, you know, if you get something that makes more sense. See, now it seems like she's running down here. He grabs her back in here, probably assaults her inside this little wooded area. I mean, what a brazen attack again. You know, we are talking about January, so it's dark outside. Okay. Alright, police issued a drawing Thursday of a man described by witnesses as having been in the area. Officer said Barbara Mae Tucker evidently was sexually assaulted and clubbed to death while walking to a night class Tuesday. Her body was found in shrubbery. Okay. I'm going to move it forward to the 22nd. Just a second. Takes a second for these things to... So, family buries co-ed while police hunt for the killer. Her friends and family buried Barbara Mae Tucker on Monday, shedding tears for the 19-year-old student so full of life and ambition who had died so unjustly, so quickly, and so tragically. In a funeral ceremony at Hinson Memorial Baptist Church, the Reverend Donald R. Baker used the violent death of the Mount Hood Community College co-ed to lash out against American social mores, and then issued his statement to the press. There's no greater indictment against the moral values of this society than the crime against the person of Barbara Mae Tucker, he said. What we are witnessing today is the fruit of a permissive and promiscuous society that has discarded all of its moral values. Amen! Oh man, that's so ahead of his time. There's no greater hypocrisy than for a society to encourage sexual abuse and permit sexual violence, and then to mourn its end results, he added. While Miss Tucker was being buried, Gresham police pressed their hunt for her murderer and for a man who they think might be a crucial witness. Police were acting primarily on leads from witnesses who had seen Miss Tucker try to flag down help on Northeast Kane Road January 15th, the night she was killed while on her way to class. Police confirmed Monday that one witness said Miss Tucker had blood on her face as she tried to get help. Man, she probably was already bludgeoned by passing motorists. Not a soul helped. That's even worse, you know. No one went to her rescue, and her partially nude body was found early the next morning on a shrub-covered slope abutting a campus parking lot. She had been fatally beaten and sexually assaulted. At a press conference Monday, Gresham police released a sketch of a man they suspect may be an important witness to Miss Tucker's murders. That's just a witness right there, apparently. Now they're doing sketches of witnesses. Wow. Who the hell's going to come forward on that? The man who was seen waiting for a westbound TriMet bus at Northeast 23rd Avenue in Kane. Let's see where that is. So that would give you a good indication of where she was. Yeah, right there. Boom. So now we're definitely, we got that, had that narrowed down. He was waiting right there. Seen waiting for a westbound TriMet bus. So they were going to go that way. 23rd Avenue and Kane Road, at about the time Miss Tucker was murdered, was described as white, 5'10", or more, weighing 165 pounds, and with dark brown, straight collar length hair parted in the middle, and a faint mustache, which is literally describes 99% of the guys that live in that area during that time frame. The jacket had bright yellow vertical stripes extending from the top of the shoulder to the bottom front of the jacket. It has been established that this individual was standing at the bus stop at Northeast 23rd and Kane, which would have been in view of the area of attack. We further believe this man was present in that area during the time of the attack and boarded a TriMet bus at about 7:03 from that location. Man, that's crazy. Let me go on the ground here and just. There's a bus stop right there, but there's one here. But he was heading westbound now, which is this way. Unless they're saying that, no. There's a bus stop right there, though. And there's one here. So if that's where he was standing, and then this bus takes a left turn, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, if there was an attack right here, then she's found over here. Could even be right in this area. Let me take a look at that. Yeah, I mean there's more trees than I saw, but I think that other spot. It's one of those right around in this area for sure now, though. Next to this parking lot, this lake, on the route to where her class was. Makes sense. Thank you, Rita Schaefer. Are you guys finding this interesting? Yeah, I think it's crazy. I don't know, for some reason some of these are way more interesting than some of these cases you see in the news now. The jacket had bright yellow vertical stripes. We believe he is a crucial witness. The man reportedly got off the bus at Southeast 122nd Avenue and Stark Street. Wow. Hold on a second. 122nd and Stark? Stark is the same number of that other case. Wow, look at that craziness. He got off the bus here. And this is 135th and Stark, where Cindy walked to Stark Street and then walked to here, drove past where that guy was dropped off. But I mean, it's a main street, Stark is, but that's kind of strange, isn't it? I wonder if they almost are trying to say that he is the killer. I mean, they have so much information on a witness. My God. You know where he was dropped off? So the man reportedly got off the bus at Southeast 122nd Avenue and Stark Street and walked north from there. Police were conducting a search in the area. In another development Monday, Multnomah County Fire District, 10 personnel and equipment started to drain the artificial lake on the Mount Hood campus near where the attack on Miss Tucker occurred. Police were looking for evidence in the lake, including any weapons that might have been used. Police were continuing their search for a suspect in the murder, a sketch of whom they released last week. The man was described as being between 20 and 25, 6 feet tall, and weighing 170 pounds. No, this isn't that one. I never heard from those people on the CrimeCon one. This is in Portland again. I don't know if you were here the other night, but it's got some eerie similarities to that case. Gresham police released a new description Wednesday of the suspect in the January 15th slaying of Mount Hood Community College student Barbara Mae Tucker. The description was partly the result of interviews with students on campus Tuesday night. Let's see. Believed to be an adult in his early 20s with black or dark hair. He was wearing expensive clothing on the night of the murder, has an olive complexion, and is about 6 feet tall and stocky with broad shoulders and square neck. Looks kind of like Gretzky, said the suspect walked with a bold, arrogant strut. He said the man was wearing apparently expensive apparel, including a light beige, closely knit around ski hat, a navy blue down jacket, and blue or gray pants. Gretzky said the new description was based on information gathered from sources, including that developed during Gresham police talks with at least 95% of the night classes at the college. In another development, Gretzky said Gresham police have interviewed a man who was believed to have been in the area of the murder, that's the guy on the bus, and whose picture was distributed to the media Monday as a possible witness. The man was not as close to the crime scene as originally thought and did not provide police with any significant new information. Eric Sankey, head of public relations for the college, said the associated student body at the school is offering a $1,000 reward. Yeah, it's in the same part of town and everything. Same at night, woman abducted, and then beaten on the head as the method of killing. It was a 4-day period that began with apprehension, then turned to sorrow, then fear, and now all those emotions have coalesced into anger. At 10 a.m. Wednesday, January 16th, I heard that a woman's body had been found in the lake parking lot on our campus, Mount Hood Community College. A chill, unrelated to the winter day, began creeping through the college corridors. All day I heard rumors. The girl was a student. She wasn't a student. She had been killed somewhere else and brought to the college. She was killed in the parking lot and had put up a struggle. She had been walking to a 7 p.m. class when she was accosted. Instructors began to think about assuring the safety of their night students. At about 4:30 p.m., the rumors solidified into fact. And it was like the cold, it appears she was sexually molested. She had put up a struggle, and her death was a violent one. Her friends were struck with disbelief. Some broke down, others were numb. Wednesday night, one instructor took a container of mace home for his wife. Thursday, the campus was too quiet The small parking lot seemed emptier than usual. I was very conscious of the isolation. It says, I was very conscious of the isolation. But the stillness may have been mostly in my imagination. Let's see what the anger is. When I met a man on the sidewalk, the voluntary thought intruded, could he be the murderer? Anyone could enter the lake parking lot. Newspaper accounts varied, unanswered questions remained. How could the parking lot have been completely deserted at the time she was killed? How could it have happened here? Why? Why did it happen? I felt fear and saw it reflected in the women I know on campus. They plan to leave the college before dark. I often work late in my office. Not Thursday night, not late and alone again. Now I will leave before the classrooms and offices are deserted. Driving home Thursday, I heard on the radio that Gresham police had found a woman who had seen Barbara Tucker just before she was killed. She was able to give police a description of a man seen with the victim. A composite drawing would be released within the hour. I waited with apprehension for the television news at 11 p.m., wondering if I would recognize the suspect. But the face was not familiar. I was both relieved and sorry. Sorry because the wondering and the searching will go on until someone leads police to the killer. I knew composites would be posted on campus Friday morning. I knew, but I wasn't fully prepared. They were on all outside doors, confronting me every time I entered the building. I stopped to read the first poster to get the full description, height, weight, clothing, and to closely study the face. After my first class, I again studied the poster, making sure I would remember all the important information. All day, wherever I went, wherever any of us walked, we were constantly reminded of the tragedy, a murder very close to home. My outrage grew along with the fear and frustration. By the end of the day, I longed to tear the posters from the doors, to shred up all the anger and fear and frustration into tiny pieces, along with the face of the man who many may have killed a 19-year-old. It was also directed at the people who could have helped, at the reactions that didn't stop a murder. It was anger at the state of our world that paralyzes responsible, good people with fear and keeps them from getting involved, from trying to help someone who might be in danger. Someone says he heard her scream. Many must have seen her on cane because it was well traveled during early evening. Why didn't anyone try to intervene? Why didn't someone at least call campus security or the Gresham police? Why did this possibly preventable murder happen? Barbara Tucker didn't have to die. Yeah, this is a good one. Sounds like a her name is Dawn Mueller, a journalism student. I bet she turned into a fantastic one. Someone says he heard her scream. There were no breakthrough reported on the Friday news at 11 p.m. The man on the poster walked towards me in my dreams that night, and I woke my husband with my shout. Saturday morning, the Oregonian reported that Gresham police had no solid leads. Apparently, that where the situation now stands, except that they're exploring the possibility she might have been killed at a nearby construction site. Weird. Thank you, Lee D. I am angry at the uselessness of Barbara Tucker's death. I am also angry because someone is limiting my freedom and the personal freedom of every woman in the area. See, that's exactly, that's what I always tell you. When we were kids, we all got to play and have fun and all that. And then as soon as the psychos started showing up, we now have to be home before dark, or earlier in the evening. We can't go out anymore. The parents have to be there. Everybody locks their doors. I always lock my door, but you know how like Delphi completely changed, and that's a good example of sort of what, and it sucks, Hey, Chris Owens, what does it have to do with what we're talking about? Do you mind if we just... I just want to do my show, buddy. Oh, boy. I'm going to put this person on timeout. All right, Barbara Mae Tucker was murdered on the Mount Hood Community College campus, and a ghost of Kitty Genovese ran beside her along Kane Road. The memory of Barbara Tucker, the specter of her unknown assailant, will haunt many of us for a long, long time. A poem Barbara wrote for her father a few days before her death provides an ironic footnote. So Barbara actually wrote this. I want to travel as far as I can go. I want to reach the joy that's in my soul and change the limitations that I know and feel my mind and spirit grow. I want to live, exist, to be, and hear the truth inside of me. Anyways, that was written by a student named Don Mueller at the time. Yeah, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about up here. Honest to God, this Chris Owens doesn't even know what case we're talking about or anything. Okay. Alright. Basically, if you're not talking about the case that we're talking about, just keep it to yourself. Alright. Hypnosis seeks clues in co-head slang. Oh, yeah, come on. Police said Monday that by hypnotizing a witness, they have obtained a description of a suspect that they feel is more accurate than any received before in the so that's what they say he looks like right there. Yeah. I don't even want to go over it. Come on. Okay, so that's the same, basically the same deal. And then in September, although that last article was February, so just like a month or so later. And then they created a watch group because of it. See how everything changes. And then in 1987, there was another article. Which will open up eventually. Assailant wounds two beside. Oh yeah. Well. Okay, hold on a second. All right, so I'll go to that in a second. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, so this just came out today. Suspect arrested in 1980 Gresham cold case homicide. So yeah, but I'm wondering though, is if this guy is the same one that killed Cindy. Okay. Gresham police identified a Troutdale man this week as the suspect in the city's oldest cold case homicide. Using DNA technology, police identified Robert Plympton, 58, as a suspect in the killing of 19-year-old Barbara Mae Tucker. Remember at the very beginning I brought up Robert Plympton? That's his dad of this guy, and he had him when he was very young. Or old, I mean, his father was old when he had him as a kid. They had the same everything. Robert A. Plympton. And his dad was, he was, it seemed like he was a pretty decent guy, but but his dad had a lot of speeding tickets. Now this Robert A. Plympton that they just arrested has a massive criminal record. I mean, he has tons and tons of speeding. There's drugs, assaults. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. So now that we know this guy's name, Robert Plympton, right? Well, I found this random article with him in it from 1987. And he should be probably, and it's weird because he's young. So that means this is one of the reasons it might not be him that killed Cindy, but it's similar. Because in 87, he's 24 years old. The murder of Barbara Mae Tucker was 1980. So that means he was 17. And then are we going to say he was 15 when he, killed Cindy? I mean, they're very similar in the same part of town, but 17 is actually pretty freaking young, so why not 15, I guess? Anyways, listen to this article here. It says, Multnomah County authorities said Sunday that 2 men were shot early Saturday along the Interstate 84 by an assailant who approached them on foot. Earlier, sheriff deputies had reported that the shooting took place on I-84 and that the shots were fired from a moving motorcycle. But actually, let me check something out. The math works here. Okay, 58. Maybe it's a different. How could there be 2 Robert Plymptons though? That's just. Let me think. So if he's 58, 1980. Well, he'd be 17 or 18 years old. So that's the same guy. Multnomah County Authority. Okay, Sheriff spokesman Chris Peterson said the incident took place shortly after 1 a.m. on the south side of the freeway near the exit to Lewis and Clark State College east of Troutdale. Robert Plympton, 24, who did not give his home address, was wounded in the right shoulder. Plimpton, who was reported in good condition Sunday in Portland's Adventist Medical Center, said he and McIntyre had been traveling west on on I-84. They were standing by their car when a man approached on foot and opened fire with a handgun. In my opinion, the guy went crazy, Plimpton said. See, isn't this wild? Like, this is 7 years after he killed this girl, and he's just kind of walking around. Really bad dude. He's getting shot at. Plimpton said he dove behind the car when the shooting began. Peterson said Plimpton and McIntyre had been involved in a verbal exchange with the gunman, who had sprayed their car with gravel while starting a motorcycle. Jeez. Sounds like that story from last night. However, Plimpton denied there was a dispute because him and the gunman had said he didn't know if the gunman knew McIntyre. He refused to answer additional questions. Peterson said the shooting suspect fled on a black or dark maroon motorcycle with an orange, So there he is. He's in the paper being shot at, and here he is right now. Using DNA technology, police identified Robert Plympton, 58, as a suspect in the killing of 19-year-old Barbara Mae Tucker in 1980. Tucker was a sophomore studying business at Mount Hood Community College when she was walking to a night class on January 15, 1980. She was seen running onto a northeast Kane Drive from the wooded area on the west edge of campus. I think that's exactly where we have it. At the time, Gresham police said in a news release, multiple witnesses driving by recalled thinking the woman was waving at someone and trying to get someone's attention, but no one stopped to help her. A witness saw a man emerge from the shrubs and led her back towards campus. A student found Tucker's lifeless body in some nearby bushes the next morning. The medical examiner determined Tucker had been sexually assaulted and beaten to death. That's exactly the same as Cindy. According to a story by the Oregonian in 1980, Tucker's partially clad body was found on shrub-covered slopes near a campus parking lot. Yep, we just read all those. Based on physical evidence from the crime scene, modern advances in DNA technology DNA ancestry databases, and research and analysis by Parabon actually helped out in this one. They were actually able to determine or give the lead to law enforcement. Court records show Plimpton has been convicted 3 times for 4th-degree assault. See, I just told you he has a whole bunch of assault. And yes, and he had a kidnapping charge that they found. Twice for kidnapping, and also has multiple convictions for driving under the influence. I mean, he had 45 incidents in, like, been verified, right? 45 times. It's just unbelievable. These cold cases are not lost or forgotten for our department, said Gresham Police Chief Claudio Grangine. Each one represents a person. Now, there's the file there. I'm proud of our detectives. Lisa Plimpton, Robert Plympton's wife, said the arrest is a shock. Really? And that her husband denies the accusations he killed Tucker. He probably said, well, I assaulted her, but I left her there just fine. And then some weird guy just appeared with a rock and started hitting her in the head. I didn't see that guy, though. Yeah, right. Okay. He's been clean and sober for the last 25 years, she said. This is completely out of character. Well, maybe you shouldn't have done drugs. And, here's the thing. It is possible that this guy was on drugs and a psycho, and then he switched around and said, you know what, I'm going to not do this anymore. I don't give 2 shits, okay? He deserves to be executed. Okay, I don't give a damn if he turned into the nicest guy that ever lived after that. Okay? You took away somebody's life who was a better person than you and smarter than you and was going to go do things. And you turned out to be a dumbass, criminal, psycho killer. Okay? So don't try to be, oh, wow, he was so great. Yeah, he's been clean and sober for 25 years, she said. It's just so out of character. Well, really, did you know about all of his assaults and his kidnappings? Okay. She said the couples were teens. Okay. She said the couple were teens. She was 15 and he was 16. And students at Reynolds High School in Troutdale when Tucker was killed. Now, he wasn't 16. He would have been like 17. If he's 58 right now, let me think. 1980. Oh, this is 41. Yeah, so that would be. He could have been 16 or 17. Yeah. She said her husband told her he only knew of the case because of news reports at the time. Right. I'm kind of surprised the wife spoke. The couple had been married for 18 years, according to court records. They even have a son. Lisa Plimpton said she is working on getting a defense lawyer for her husband, who started Spotted Owl Guide Service, a company that runs tours in the upper Sandy River above Oxbow Park. Oh, man. Oh, God. God, that's so great. You know? Like, he thought, hey, I'm so amazing. I am just such a great person. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this nice little Spotted Owl Guide Service. Nobody would ever suspect somebody like me. I'm going to go, the next thing I'm going to do is, start a mushroom hunting service. I'll just take them to the places where I didn't bury the bodies for people to find. What an idiot. Oregon court records show Plimpton was arrested in 1997 by Portland police on allegations that echo the Tucker case. Records show he was accused of attempted sodomy and assault in an attack on a woman. Court records say investigators suspected Plimpton drove her to a secluded place and attacked her. An officer later came across the woman, who was crying and injured. According to court records, the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office dismissed the case, though court filings offer no explanation for the decision. What a ridiculous... Really? Maureen Quinn, a Portland native and childhood friend of Tucker, said after reading the news of Plimpton's arrest Wednesday that she is thankful investigators continued to pursue the case. The violence with which she was killed was so horrible, Quinn said. To be almost 60 years old and find out that they kept looking, I'm just so grateful. Plimpton is in custody at Multnomah County Detention Center. His bail was set at $500,000. Anyone who has additional information about this case or other unsolved homicides is asked to call Turnage at 503-618-3136. Yeah, so that one was, I didn't even think about maybe a connection here, but man, he would have to have been, he could have been 15, I guess. But man, if you just kind of look at it, it's pretty wild how. This is where Robert Plympton is living. He lives right here. Look at this craziness. Here's where the murder was. And look where he lives right now. I mean, he was just probably, just right over there. Every day he woke up in the morning. Yeah, let's take a look. There it is. Just a absolutely Dennis Radar, freaking owl hunting, and lives in a little ranch style home. Absolutely nothing flashy. Look at the car color. Definitely didn't want to be pulled over very often anymore. I don't know what, let's see what year this is right here. Now this is 2011, so I can't 100% say that that's his car. Then also he lived, and actually that's probably more recent, and there's different cars there. Yeah, in 2004 he lived right here, right off of a highway. Right there. Yeah, wouldn't that be weird if that other car is his and that car is his? Same color. And then he lived here. Well, there's that one, and then there's... Actually, I don't know the year of that one. That was incorrect. Well, this is the one I don't know the year of. So he also lived here at one point. Yeah, Powers was 82. Oh yeah, he'd be older, you're right. Yeah, that's right, he'd be older. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking 15. Yeah, he'd be the other way around. So he would be, like 19. So that makes it even make more sense. Man, I think they definitely need to look at that. What do you guys think? That's almost eerily similar, right? So you look at over here, you've got the Yeah, my brain went backwards in it. You have two women at night, basically abducted, both of them. Both of them were sexually assaulted. Both were killed by blunt force trauma to the head. And the other, Powers, was found behind this building when it was a Levitt's, where if you go back in time, it looked like this. No residential properties around there. There's some over here, but that's way too far away for anybody to have heard anything. I wouldn't even, I would actually guess it was more over here. The car probably drove back here, and then it became a Lowe's later. So you can, big difference. This whole, all this pavement wasn't there. And, I'm gonna have to call that one in tomorrow. Except, you know, both of the DNA samples would be in CODIS, and they would have matched, I would think, already. Like, they would have said, these two cases are related. It's the same killer. And it could be that they'll come out with a press conference tomorrow or something and say, oh, we also have this one. But I don't know, man. Seems like they would have easily, quickly identified that both of those cases were related. But possibly not, I guess. You know, the Freak family agrees, huh? All right. Well, I got another one coming up, but I think, oh, there you go. Stacy just sent me to the beach. Got my little beaver shirt on. Got one more story, a little longer. This one isn't solved yet. Dun, dun. Yeah, definitely is too similar. Thank you, Cammy Curry. All right. With the old Dadio Caspian Horses Rock Lemon Face. Ta-da! Ice cold Gatorade. It's a good idea. I'm gonna go get one. Get your refreshing Gatorade drink. Yes, you too, for just 99 cents, can have a G2 Gatorade. Feel refreshed every time. Thank you, Linda Howell, as in Linda Moulden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Kathy Frieden Maker. Georgina Stoliker. Was that a pretty good ad, Cindy? Come on, that was pretty good, right? Stoliker sounds like a soccer name. Georgina Stoliker. You're not drooling? Dropping? Drooping? Not drooping, dropping. Oh, you said the aliens are dropping off a drink. Well, I read it as dropping. Thank you, Marianne Riddenauer. That's a German name, isn't it? 9. It probably had a different spelling, I bet, a long time ago. Yeah. Well, how's everybody doing? Everybody all vaccinated and everything? It looks like the virus is really starting almost disappearing. Getting the hell out of here. I guess 85% of adults are vaccinated. That's pretty good. At least for adults. Maybe the kids are like, screw that, man. In the 90s here this week. Yeah, we had it 90s last week here in Portland. That's crazy, right? How did that happen? In May. It was actually May, like a weekend. Yes. Thank you very much, freaks. Especially Stacy's amazing super chat number there. Setting the all-time record. Oh, yeah? Is it because of me, Cammie Curry? Or that's just what her name was going to be anyways? Just pretend it was because of me. That's right. Island freaks. Island freak. All right. I'm going to stay on here till 7. 2 more minutes. And then I'm switching over to the next case. And that one will be Patty Kalitzke and Duane Bogle from 1956, if you can believe that. Hey, listen to that. Yeah, we were trying to get baby Santiago to be gray, but yeah. That's awesome. Well, you're gonna have to we'll have to make a, I'll make a baby, somebody in one of the freaks was gonna be able to make baby gear. They were gonna send it to Santiago. I can't remember who that was. Have it put like gray on the front and freak on the back. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you love the channel. Tell your friends about it. Say, you know that gray guy?
He can be so mean.
But he's not really mean. You know, that's the thing. Melee? What does that mean? Miley? Yeah, who isn't mean, huh? Okay, everybody. I'm gonna get back to the cases. And thank you for letting me enjoy the vacation on the island. This is a kind of a weird, right off the bat image here. Look at that. I think that's somebody, I think they put clothing over the top of her, but this is 1956 here. And this is in Montana. So, the fully clad body of 16-year-old. What, fully clad? That means fully dressed? I don't know. It sounds like that. I think they changed that later. Now, let's see if we can get the information right here. Was found shortly after noon Wednesday in a roadside ditch 5 miles north of Mount Royal. Right. Thank you, Swerves. Mount Royal, Montana. Wow. There's even a ditch anywhere around here? I mean, this is... Okay. Was found shortly after noon Wednesday in a roadside ditch 5 miles north of Mount Royal. The girl, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Henry Kalitzky, 37, of 20th Street Southwest. Let me just put, let me measure something here really quick. Wow, thank you, Sandra Turner. Cat Eye, thank you. So 5 miles is only about like this. So I guess somewhere maybe off of one of these. I'm just going to put that here for now, just as a basic description. Hey, thank you very much, Sandra. Very kind. Brianna Probst. How's your daughter doing? Oh, wait, let me get that address too. So it was 20th Street. Southwest in Great Falls, Montana. Her parents lived right there. Oh, well, good. Sounds like then that part worked at least, Brianna. All right. Now the fully clad body of 16-year-old Patricia. Does that? What is full? Hold on a second. God, my brain isn't working right now. Okay, yeah. So she was fully clothed. The fully clad body of 16-year-old For some reason, my brain was like, I thought it was fully dressed when I said it earlier. Like when they said, oh, they were clad in only a sweatshirt and a... So I figured it meant they were fully clothed, but I thought I read earlier where she was partially nude. The fully clad body of 16-year-old Patricia Kalitzky, object of a search since airman boyfriend was found slain west of here. Tuesday morning was discovered at the bottom of a 20-foot embankment north of the city about 1:30 p.m. Wednesday by a county road patrol operator. The girl had a bullet hole through her head. Time of her death was not immediately established, but apparently she had been murdered by the same killer of her Texas boyfriend, after first having been forced to see him shot down in Lover's Lane. And it says Chinese execution. Not sure what that means. A preliminary investigation by Cascade County Coroner Dr. C.E. Magner failed to show any sign. Maybe that means you witnessed the other person. Family members had to... let's just see. Maybe there's an actual definition. A preliminary investigation by Cascade County Coroner Dr. C.E. Magner failed to show any signs that she had been criminally molested, either before or after she was killed. Magner said a further investigation is necessary before definitively establishing whether or not she had been molested. Harry Browning, grading the county road about 5 miles north of Mount Royal. Let's see. Harry Browning, grading the county road about 5 miles north of Mount Royal, discovered the body. He reported the discovery to the county shop, which in turn notified the sheriff. Indications at the scene were that she, like her boyfriend, Lloyd Duane Bogle, 18, of Waco, Texas, had been forced to kneel before the brutal killer, who then fired a bullet into the head of her, into the back of her head. That's wild. That's the boyfriend right there, Lloyd Duane Bogle. Wow, the bullet. Wow, this is crazy. The bullet, as in the case of Bogle, entered just above and behind her right ear and apparently came out of her left eye. Jesus. That's wild. A trail of blood indicating she had been pitched or thrown over the embankment was evident in the grass down the side of the hill. One shoe had fallen off as she rolled down the steep ice-covered incline. That's her right there. But they covered her with a blanket. The body of the attractive Great Falls High School junior was found about 7 miles from where Bogle was shot and left lying beside his automobile, 300 yards northwest of the Great Falls Trap and Skeet Club. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, there it is. All right. 300 yards northwest. Okay. So northwest. So he was found probably right off of this road. Here's the... Let's just go from here. Yards. Lloyd Bogle found. Okay. But they're saying 7 miles? So let's see. That looks a lot more than that. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Is that the one? No? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. They said she was north of that, but maybe that's what was incorrect. They're saying she was found 7 miles from here. It makes more sense that it was closer. 20-foot embankment north of the city. Was found slain west of here. Body found north of the city. The body of Pat Kalitzky of Great Falls was found shortly after noon Wednesday in a roadside ditch 5 miles north of Mount Royal. Yeah, well, see, Mount Royal though is. Let's try this. Come on. Mount Royal, Montana. Yeah, it's hundreds of miles away from here. From Great Falls. So somebody's messing up here. Well, maybe we'll get that clarified later. Police and let's see. Prior to finding the girl's body, sheriff's officers had made a thorough search of the area in which Bogle had been killed, in hopes of finding a clue to the killer or a trace of the missing girl. Thank you, Brianna Props. Police and Malmstrom Air Force Base authorities also were working the case. Bogle's car was examined Wednesday morning. R.M. Thomas of the Police Identification Bureau and Deputy Sheriff Harlan McDonough, they reported they found no clues. Leeper said officials at the airbase are holding an airman who allegedly argued with the slain man a day or two before the shooting. He is a suspect, and that's about all. Let's see. A recommendation that an autopsy be made to establish further evidence necessary to complete prosecution of the case was made Wednesday night by a coroner's jury inquiring into the death of Lloyd Duane Bogle. The jury found Bogle, an airman assigned to Millstrom Air Force Base here, was killed by a shot fired by persons or persons unknown. Members of the jury said, probably grand jury, said that from the evidence submitted, they feel an investigation should be continued until such persons are apprehended. Just loading up the PDF files. We are grabbing in every straw we can find. We know we've got a killer loose in the community. Leeper said officials at nearby Mellstrom Air Force Base were holding an airman who allegedly argued with the slain man. Bogle's lifeless body was found by the side of his car in a lover's lane on the northern outskirts. Man, it's almost like the Zodiac. Yeah, it's really crazy, right? Outskirts of the central Montana city. His hands had been behind his back, police said. At first, it was believed the brutal killer had kidnapped the girl, but 24 hours after Bogle's body was discovered, a county maintenance worker spotted Miss Kalitsky's body at the bottom of an embankment along a county road about 8 miles from where Bogle's body was found. A preliminary examination by coroner C.E. Magner. Hey, thank you, Rita Schaefer. A preliminary examination by coroner C.E. Magner revealed that the girl had been criminally attacked. Oh. The girl was fully clothed and she bore, let's see, had not been? So the girl was fully clothed. Magner revealed that the girl had not been criminally attacked. The girl was fully clothed and she bore no bruises except those received in her fall down the embankment. Thank you, Lee D. The leaper theorized she had been shot in the killer's car and pushed out. Neither the airman... How would she have been shot in the girl's car? I mean, in the killer's car, if the bullet entered the back of her right ear and then out her left eye. Bogle had met his death from a gunshot wound inflicted by an unknown person. Leeper said he had not had a chance to question the boy picked up by the Air Force police, the one he argued with. They had been seen at a drive-in restaurant Monday evening. Bogle's body was found near his car in the Lover's Lane, about 4 miles northwest of the city. Is that really where that is? So I might be a different club now, because that's the city, northwest. Oh, there goes my stomach. Just went, Thank you, Amber Maiden. Yeah, it's awesome. So fortunate. But when everybody will realize how great it is when we get the first solved case that we're funding regarding DNA. It's going to be great. So this is 1956 here. We, the jury, feel the gunshot wound that caused the death was fired by a person. Man, they're still talking about we, the jury. Crap. What do you mean we, the jury? There's no... I mean, I guess it's the grand jury, but they didn't say that. And the autopsies failed to yield any clues. Anderson says, so far nothing definite has been established, and it appears the killer was very lucky or planned it very carefully. The mother of the murdered airman, Miss Albuquerque Bogle, that's her name, is expected to arrive in Great Falls from her Waco, Texas home shortly after funeral services. Officers hope Mrs. Bogle may be able to give them some information as to whether or not the youth mentioned being afraid of something or someone. Funeral services for Patricia Kalitzky, one of 2 victims of a Lover's Lane slayer, were held Monday afternoon from Our Savior's Lutheran Church, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Henry Kalitsky of Great Falls High School. Her airman sweetheart, Lloyd Duane Bogle, 18, was to be buried at Waco, Texas. Sheriff posse members are searching the areas in which the bodies of Miss Kalitzky and Bogle were found, but have failed to turn up any new evidence. Another lead in murder case fizzles. Only another setback in the investigation of the murders of Lloyd Duane Bogle and Patricia Kalitzky developed Thursday in the 10th day of the probe when another lead fizzled. Officers spent most of the day going over reports and continuing to interview friends and associates of the couple, then were provided with information over the state police network that had every indication of being the missing link. The immediate check revealed it was nothing more than a story concocted to alleviate the fears of an anxious wife, and in retelling gained embellishment. After the lead fizzled, what's weird is how often people do that. They come forward and say they're the killer or something. It just shows you that there's a lot of people out here that wouldn't mind killing just to get some fame. The Kalitzky Bogle Reward Fund established by Great Northern employees reached a total of $2,671, which is, God, that's probably $70,000 today. 1956. You could buy homes for 10 grand back then. Members of the fund committee continued to contact local business houses during the day and reported the response was excellent. Yep. Crazy times. So now we're moving a year ahead now. No, basically there's nothing. See that? Cascade investigation and double sling uncovers scanty leads. Okay, let's see. The night before January 2nd, 1956, a year ago, Wednesday, Lloyd Duane Bogle, 18. Let me zoom in. This is tiny. The night before January 2nd, 1956, a year ago Wednesday, Lloyd Duane Bogle, 18, of Waco, Texas, airman assigned to Malmstrom Air Force Base since April 16, 1955, had been murdered, his assassin firing a bullet through his head. His hands had been tied behind his back by his own belt. So that's strange. It's almost like they were both in his car for a while. Like he had one tie up the other, and then they were both tied up. And then he killed him there, but then took her somewhere else. Why would he do that? If he really meant to just execute them, why would he take her 8 miles away? It seems like there had to have been a sexual component to it. Several hours later, it was discovered Bogle's girlfriend, Patricia Kalitzky, 16, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Henry Kalitsky, Great Falls, was missing. She last had been seen in his company. The next afternoon, Harry Browning, a county road patrol operator, was grading the road about 4 miles north of Mount Royal. I keep showing you that. It's like 100 miles away. He looked down over the embankment on a side hill and noticed a blue cloth lying at the bottom. Browning stopped for a closer look and discovered it was a human body. Sheriff D.J. Leeper was notified, and officers went to the area to find the body of Pat Kalitzky, fully clothed and also with a bullet hole in the head. The discovery snuffed all hope the attractive high school student might have been kidnapped by Bogle's killer and still would be found unharmed. Every law enforcement officer in the area offered assistance in bringing the case to a quick solution, and sheriff officers, assisted by city detectives, worked on loan to the department, began a systematic probe of the killing. Hundreds of offers of information poured in, each to be checked, and then associates and friends of the couple were interviewed. The death area were meticulously searched for the smallest clue to the killer's identity. Eyewitness accounts of the slaying later proved hoaxes, hampered the investigation, but every shred of information was checked out. The result, nothing. I feel bad about it, not getting the guy who killed those two, Leeper said this week as he reviewed the activities of the year-long search for the murderer. I guess it is just one of those things, but we're not giving up. Maybe this year we'll get him. A year after the slayings, a solution to the crime remains the number one point on Leeper's agenda. Just last week, we got a new lead the boys are working on, Leeper said. It hasn't added up to anything yet, but maybe this time we're on the trail. At any rate, we're working on it, and if this doesn't bring us to him, the killer, maybe the next one will. We've never quit working on the case, and we never will as long as I am the sheriff. Tuesday, Mr. Henry Kalitsky, mother of the murdered Patricia, told sheriff's officers that her husband was followed by a gray car bearing yellow license plates when he carried his son's paper route that morning. Mrs. Kalitsky provided no other information. From the beginning, no tangible item of evidence has been turned up. The killings apparently went unobserved, even though the area in which Bogle's body was found ordinarily is well traveled during the hours when the shooting is believed to have taken place. In each instance, the bullet passed completely through the head of the victim, leaving nothing from which ballistics tests could be made to determine the type of weapon used. Well, didn't they look? It'd be hard to find, I guess. Measurements of the bullet holes indicate a gun of .45 caliber size was used. Clothing of the victims was sent to the Federal Bureau of Investigation laboratories in Washington, D.C. Searches of the two death areas failed to turn up an empty cartridge or anything else pointing even vaguely towards a suspect. Interviews with the girl's parents and family and friends and acquaintances have both failed to reveal any motive for the murders. A lie detector. You know, it's weird. This one sort of sounds like the one we talked about last night. You know, those two people just shot in the back of the head at a park on a bench. You know, there's psychos out there. Although this one seems a little bit more serial killer-ish. You know, you've got somebody who obviously, you know, must have had them both tied up at one point. And then, let's see. God, I don't know, it's weird. He might not have ever even had to tie the girl up. He had her tie him up and just immediately shot him, and then puts her in the car and they just drive, and she's too scared to jump out or do anything. And he takes her somewhere and then kills her. But it's still two people shot in the back of the head. Yeah, I guess they talked about getting married too. Double murder case data offered in telephone call. Let's see. Sheriff's officers are awaiting any further developments on a telephone call received at the county jail in which a woman indicated she would provide officers with information. Guess who that is? Psychic. With information in connection with the murders of Patricia Kalitzke and Duane Bogle. The woman, described by the deputy to whom she talked as apparently young and who seemed to be worried or shaken, told the officers, I'm just guessing on that, by the way, told the officer she knew who had left a drive-in in, let's see, hold on. Word or shaken, told the officer she knew who had left a drive-in lunch stand with the two young people the night they were killed. She refused to give any other information, but indicated she would contact officers again shortly and give them all the information she had unless someone confessed in the meantime. Sheriff D.J. Leeper said no one has confessed to the crime, and he has received no indication anyone will, other than the woman's call. Leeper said it is the first time during the entire investigation that officers have received a call in which anyone purported to have information such as the caller indicated. Leeper said it is difficult to evaluate the call to determine if it is authentic or the work of a crank, because a person making the call might for some reason be afraid to make the second call. I don't know what to make of that. It's sort of interesting. Yeah, so now we're moving all the way to 1964. Florida holding suspect in 56 dual murder. We're checking out another man who may be the suspect in the January 2nd, 1956 murder. The Miami, Florida Sheriff's Office advised the Montana Highway Patrol that a Wendell Smith, 40, originally of Van Buren, Arkansas, stated he had killed a boy and a girl in Montana 2 years ago. Right, but that was way more than 2 years ago. Bullets from Wadsworth tree studied in 1956 murder tie. And this is 1989, this article. The Cascade, so we're talking 33 years later. The Cascade County Sheriff's Department Tuesday cut a section from a 150-year-old cottonwood which officials say contains several old bullets and possibly some fresh clues in a double murder. A second round of gamma ray testing Friday by Mattingly Testing Services revealed 5 bullets lodged at near vertical angles in the tree at Wadsworth Park. 2 days earlier, he had attempted to produce a picture of the inside of the tree, but only succeeded after a period of trial and error. At a press conference Tuesday afternoon, Sheriff Barry Michelotti said a chunk roughly 22 inches long, 8 inches wide, and 10 inches deep was cut from the tree about 2 feet from the ground. Along with the bullets, which Michelotti said appear to be .45 caliber, a number of handguns will be sent for analysis. This sheriff said a link between the bullets and one of the guns stored over years in an evidence room may be discovered. Airman Lloyd Bogle, 18, was found at the base of the cottonwood. Oh, wow. So there's actually bullet holes in the very same tree that he was found under. Well, that makes sense then. Let me go back then a little bit. Wadsworth Park. So now we know where he was found. It looks like it's supposed to be northwest of the town. Yeah, see, now we're moving to where it should be. out somewhere around in here. That's Wadsworth Park. It's pretty interesting. So Airman Lloyd Bogle, 18, was found at the base of the Cottonwood January 3rd, 1956, the victim of an execution-style slaying. The unknown gunman apparently forced Bogle to his knees in front of the tree, thus explaining the deep angles in which the bullets sliced into the tree. I actually think that those are the bullets, right? Bogle was discovered with his hands bound by his belt. A coroner's report stated that the gunman shot the young airman from behind, the bullet entering above the right ear. Another hole was found, so that was him, in Bogle's left temple, but it was not determined. Wait, hold on a second. Bogle was discovered with his hands bound by his belt. The coroner's report stated that the gunman shot the young airman from behind, the bullet entering above the right ear. And it says another hole was found in Bogle's left temple, but it was not determined whether the hole was caused by a second bullet or a fragment. That seems like that'd be really easy to determine. The body of Bogle's 16-year-old girlfriend, Patricia Kalitzke, was found about 7 miles away. She was similarly shot while on her knees with the bullet entering from above her right ear. And then she was shot about an hour after her boyfriend. And remember, it exited her left excuse me, eye. So how could she have been in the car unless, I don't know. She would have had to have been like driving the car. The body of Bogle's 16-year-old girlfriend, Patricia Kalitzke, was found. Okay. She was shot about an hour after her boyfriend, according to the coroner's report. Forensic testing may match the bullets from the tree with the handguns or detect identifying marks on the bullets. The sheriff did not say why the case aroused interest this fall after 34 years of mystery. It's always been on the mind of the department, he said. Michelotti admitted the trail of the criminal is cold, but added it may heat up with discovery of the bullets. Even now, though, Michelotti said the case is not a priority. The lab selected to check into the bullets will not be advised to rush its analysis. Wow. Using gamma ray, Mattingly could provide a clear picture of what lay inside the tree. The method called... I thought gamma rays can make you turn into the Incredible Hulk. Remember that? See, now we're going up all the way to 2010. And that's why that guy earlier was trying to be like, hey, I think he did, it's just ridiculous. Known for his knack for cracking cold cases, former great... But this guy here, Ed Edwards, he is just like that other... oh, shit. Now I can't remember their names again. Man, I can never remember that guy's name. The other, the clearinghouse serial killers. Here he is, Ed Edwards. Apparently he's killed every single person that... yeah, there he is. Thank you. Henry Lee Lucas. Man, why that guy's name doesn't just pop into my head. I'm kind of glad, though. But anyways, yeah, Henry Lee Lucas. This Ed Edwards, guys, to me is very similar, but let's see what they've got here. There's that same newspaper clipping that I have right there. Known for his knack of cracking cold cases, former Great Falls police detective John Cameron believes he has unraveled the coldest one of them all. The brutal 1956 slaying of 16-year-old Patricia Kalitzke and the 18-year-old airman she was dating, Lloyd Bogle. Cameron spent the past month studying Edward Wayne Edwards, a 77-year-old lifelong criminal and con man. Hey, I know a YouTuber that's just like that, who pleaded guilty in early June to stabbing and strangling a young couple in Wisconsin in 1977 and executing another young couple in Ohio 4 years later. The similarities between those homicides and the Cascade County crime became more significant when Cameron was able to place Edwards in Great Falls in January of 1956. And let's see, so right now, during this article in 2010, so 40 years before that would be 1970, and he would have been 37. And you go 14 years before that, he would have been definitely within a range. So it'd be 23. So he would have been about 23 years old. The similarities between those homicides and the Cascade County crime became more significant when Cameron was able to place Edwards in Great Falls, Montana in January of 1956. He's a serial killer who kills couples on lovers' lanes, Cameron said. What are the chances that you'd have one in Great Falls when he is this... Yeah, so he kills, I guess Ed Edwards kills sort of like the Zodiac. You know, Lover's Lane. He's a serial killer who kills couples on lovers' lanes. What are the chances that you'd have one in Great Falls when he was in this town and he didn't do it? Yeah, right. I mean, it's a very small little town, so that makes sense. When Patricia Kalitsky didn't come home that cold January evening, her parents approvingly assumed their daughter and Boggle had run off to elope. Last seen eating burgers at Pete's Drive-In on the evening of January 2nd, 1956. I wonder if that's still there in a small town like that. I doubt it. I mean, there's hardly even any. No, there's Ford's Drive-In, which is close to there. I wonder if that was it at one point. We'll just say that's it. And that kind of makes sense, you know. It's on that part of town. He's shot over here. We don't really know where she was shot. You know, there's nobody in here tonight. Is there anybody in here that's not a channel member? Like, scroll up. There's nothing. That's what I mean. It seems like only channel members got notified of the show. It's weird. If you're out there and you're not a channel member, please type in. Oh, there you go. So you're one. Okay. Well, make sure you sign up really quick, you guys. Didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but, you know, Amber, John, might as well sign up, man. Your channel membership will help support the channel and the charities at the end of the month, especially the DNA fund that we're building up. And you too, Regina. Oh, you didn't get one? Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. We started off the show, there was like only 80 people watching for a while. I don't even know. I think people just randomly stumbling upon it. Hey, thanks, John. I was just kind of goofing around, but hey, I appreciate it. Every bit helps. Well, thank you, Brianna. I had to go to my PC to message you, going to get back to exercising. All good. Thank you, Kentucky Church Guy. This is a kind of an interesting one, though, isn't it? Last eating burgers at Pete's Drive-In on the evening of January 2nd, 1956. Bogle was found dead the next morning, his hands bound behind his back with his own belt, in what investigators termed a Chinese-style execution. He was ordered to his knees, told to drop his head, and was shot with the bullet going in the back of his head and out his eye. I thought you said left temple before. Okay. Which one am I on right now? That's 10. Oh yeah. And the next page is really long. So I actually had to get the link instead. So these are people doing reenactments. Like here's the tree. There they sort of put a guy on the ground and kids coming up upon. The couple were well liked and no one had any reason to want them dead. For months the entire sheriff's detective staff, 2 Great Falls policemen, and Malmstrom Air Force Base officers were dedicated to the case. Leads took them to Canada, Florida, and Arkansas. Just 20 days into investigation, then Sheriff D.J. Leeper told the Tribune, "From what we have been able to put together so far, we believe we are closing in on a suspect." Months later, a different suspect prompted officers to express optimism. But an arrest has never been made in the 54-year-old case since. As a Great Falls police detective, Cameron made a name for himself investigating long unsolved murders. Cameron investigations often became obsessions, a fact that defense attorneys used both successfully and unsuccessfully against him. A string of 4 arrests and 7 of the city's unsolved homicides began in 1997 when Cameron got a tip from a confidential informant that Donald Dubray stabbed 18-year-old Suzette Pritchard as she worked at a convenience store October 7, 1986. He was later convicted and is serving a life sentence. Another of Cameron's suspects, Nathaniel Bar Jonah, died in prison after being convicted of sexually assaulting 3 boys in December of 2000. Bar Jonas, I think Cairo knows about this one. I think he talked to me about this guy before. Bar Jonas' cryptic writings, photographs of children, and the discovery of a fragments from a child's bone buried in his garage led police to charge him with killing 10-year-old Zach Ramsey, who disappeared 4 years earlier. Prosecutors later dropped the case when Ramsey's mother announced she believed her son was still alive and that Bar Jonah was innocent. I don't know. I've heard of this guy before. Cameron also thought he had solved the 1964 stabbing of grocer Jim Arata and his wife Lois. In 2002, why does it matter if the son announced she believed her son was alive? Let's see. Cameron's conversation with Delana. Let me move down to the right here. That day, a Great Falls police detective was assigned to investigate the Arata murders after Cameron's retirement and the 2000 death of Detective Captain Carpenter. Ohio investigators had sent out a bulletin on Edwards to law enforcement, Ed Edwards, in several states where Edwards was known to have lived, including Montana. In the last 50 years, a quick records check revealed 2 facts to Cameron. Edwards was in Portland, Oregon. Wow. Portland, Oregon jail when the... Oh my God, I'm so close to the case now. When Arata was murdered, occurred, and he was convicted of an armed robbery in Billings just 2 months after. That was enough. In the weeks since, Cameron took vacation from his current job as a state probation officer and spent late nights combing through newspaper articles to learn everything he could about both Edwards and the 1956 murders. If you ask me questions, I'm going to get to the end of it, Cameron said. He retraced the crime scenes with the mailman who, along with 3 teenage boys, discovered Bogle's body in Wadsworth Park. The most important clues, however, came from Edwards. The Billings robbery was not the first crime Edwards committed. Born in Akron, Ohio in 1933, he landed in an orphanage at the age of 7 and was in reform school by age 15. 2 years later, he left juvenile detention, where he had been sent after a string of burglaries, and joined the Marines. He soon was dishonorably discharged after being charged with breaking and entering in Florida. By the time he was added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive list in 1961, Edwards had spent 9 of his 28 years in jail. But it wasn't petty crimes that put him in the FBI's radar. Edwards was a suspect in the 1960 murders of a young couple on a lover's lane in Portland, Oregon. The man, Larry Payton, was stabbed to death in November that year. The body of his girlfriend, Beverly Ann Warren, was found 2 months later. Edwards spent time, and that's sort of interesting because that means that she was separated by some distance from the man, just like in this case. Edwards spent time in prison from 1962 to 1967, and again from 82 to 86. In between, Edwards became a father, an author, and a drifter, and took part in several cons, including pretending to be a psychiatrist in Minnesota. He spent several years traveling the country as a motivational speaker, making television and radio appearances. He's kind of an interesting person. You know, somebody should just really do a full-on, like a movie with this guy in it. Have like Leonardo DiCaprio play it, you know. Catch Me If You Can. He spent several years traveling the country as a motivational speaker, making television and radio appearances in an attempt to dissuade young men from following his example. He also suggested better ways for law enforcement officials to rehabilitate inmates. Constantly moving, Edwards' past caught up with him when his son saw a TV news story about a young couple killed in Wisconsin in 1980. Sweethearts Tim Hack and Kelly Drew, 19, disappeared from a wedding reception in a hall where Edwards worked for a short time as a handyman. Years later, Edwards' son told police that the family left Wisconsin abruptly after the crime and that Edwards once remarked the couple's bodies would be found in a field. The trip and matching DNA evidence. You know, I think serial killers make the best psychics. Let's see. And that Edwards once remarked that the couple's bodies would be found in a field. The tip and matching DNA evidence found on Drew's pants convinced the jury to convict Edwards of that crime, and he has since admitted killing another young couple in Ohio in August 1977, as well as a young man whom Edwards said he considered to be like a son. Like Kalitzke and Bogle, the Ohio teens were shot in the back of the head. Cascade County rarely, if ever, has seen a crime as horrid as the cold execution of the two teens. There were front page headlines each time police had a lead, and each time that lead fizzled, a picture of Patricia's slumped body at the base of a steep embankment appeared on the front page for all to see. Donations poured into a reward fund that reached $88,000. Wow, that is like $1 million. That's like probably $2 million almost. The reaction was just, how could this happen in Great Falls? Retired Sheriff Captain Keith Wolverton said. Nothing like that has ever happened here. Even the medical examiner didn't check for things that we do know. We do know. We just didn't have the background to work that type of case. Let me move it up to here. The Cascade County Sheriff's Office was intrigued enough by the initial evidence to see if Edwards' DNA could tie him to the crime. Well, I mean, you guys have a DNA sample from the 56 case? The 1956, the coroner examined Kalitsky's body for signs that she had been raped, finding none. However, a vaginal swab was preserved on a slide in the case files, if you can believe this. With DNA evidence cracking cases around the country, investigators decided to check the evidence for possible DNA in 2003, coming up with a profile off the slide that didn't match Kalitsky or Bogle. Huh. Well, I mean, I hope the person who, in 1956, who put the sample on the slide was careful and didn't like touch it. Or ever since then, they've been using that DNA profile to clear suspects, which is exactly what they did when Edwards' name came up. Lieutenant John Stevens said the DNA wasn't a match. While sheriff investigators initially were willing to dismiss Edwards as a suspect, Stevens changed his opinion by Friday. We haven't eliminated anybody, he said. We're working with the county attorney's office. We will continue to investigate Edwards and anybody else that could be a suspect in the case. In 1972, Edwards published a book titled Metamorphosis of a Criminal, documenting his adolescence and early criminal career. Cameron has read the book 3 times, honing in on the 37 pages dedicated to the few months Edwards spent in Great Falls. That's interesting. On the run for a string of armed robberies, Edwards and his then pregnant girlfriend, Jeanette Rogers, fled the West Coast to Great Falls to hide out with her brother. Though he never writes about the Kalitsky Bogle crime specifically, Edwards places himself in Great Falls at the time of the double homicide. Through old maps and city directories, Cameron believes Edwards stayed at the Evergreen Motel, located on a road. That's crazy. Let's see. Located on a road that connected Wadsworth Park, where Bogle's body was found, with the embankment north of Great Falls, where Kalitsky was found dead the next day. Cameron believes Edwards stayed at the Evergreen Motel. Is that still there? I doubt it. Yeah. I wish they would say in these articles, now they just don't do it. Well, what'd they call it? Evergreen Motel. Okay. Okay, so he thinks that he stayed at the hotel. Oops. Okay, let me lead back into there. Through old maps and city directories, Cameron believes Edwards stayed at the Evergreen Motel, located on a road that connected Wadsworth Park, where Bogle's body was found, with the embankment north of Great Falls, where Kalitsky was found dead the next day. So there's the park. What road from this park could have possibly... I wonder if it's like that one right here. But it's not really next to the park. It's weird. Just checking. Just checking. Cameron also combed newspaper articles around the time, clipping every burglary or robbery in the police report. He has matched several of those crimes to ones Edwards described committing in the book, the earliest of which is a week after the homicide. Edwards described using a large caliber gun to frighten and rob gas station attendants, going so far to cover up the crimes as to pick up the discharged shells. No shells or bullets were found by either Bogle or Kalitsky. Interesting. Both in the book and in later newspaper interviews promoting it, Edwards admitted to committing every crime in the book. However, in the book he tells that he and his buddy watched police scramble to investigate a double homicide that occurred on a lover's lane in Oregon, with details that are similar to the Cascade County case. More important than any physical clues, Cameron said, is the fact that the book reveals Edwards' mindset. His crimes were not motivated by money, and he was never known to rape his victims. He is a power-driven killer, and that's what those murders were. It was just about the power of killing. In the book, Edwards described the thrill of the heist and seeing the fear in the person's eyes when he pointed a gun at them. I was enjoying this thoroughly, he wrote of a gas station robbery in Great Falls, I continued boldly to wave the weapon before his eyes. Along with talking with local law enforcement and Cascade County Attorney John Parker, Cameron has called investigators around the country attempting to further pin down a timeline of Edward's life. Other than to say the case was ongoing, Parker wouldn't comment on the investigation of the status of any suspect, but noticed the difficult standard prosecutors must meet. The standard is particularly hard to meet in cold cases, and none that is on the area investigators' active list is older than the Kalitzke Bogle murders. Let's see. Based on a piece of scalp removed when a body was exhumed months after burial, investigators believe the crime was committed with a large caliber gun, likely a .45, but it's not exact. In 1989, officers hoped a cottonwood tree that was near Bogle's body would reveal the physical evidence needed to match a gun to the crime. Cameron learned the handgun Edwards used in the Billings robbery was melted down, and police reports never documented what caliber weapon was used. Evergreen Motel records don't go that far far back, but even if they did, Edwards would have checked in under a number of different aliases. I'm reading this from like 3 feet away. I can barely see it. Got a small edit. Despite the difficulty in potentially getting a conviction, Cameron convinced top officials at the FBI Behavioral Science Unit in Quantico to take a look at Edwards. The 77-year-old is ill, but Cameron hopes he will be willing to sit down and talk. Cameron sent Edwards a letter at the prison where he was held and asked for an interview, and Cameron placed money in an account to pay for any phone calls or letters Edwards may want to write to him. But as he did with other cold cases investigation, Cameron intends to keep digging until a clue clears Edwards or leads elsewhere to other unsolved crimes. Wild, huh? And then I think this was from yesterday. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, it just talks about it again. Disemboweling himself. What the hell? Wow. You see that? Inmate dies after disemboweling himself at Montana State Prison. Through DNA testing, he was able to eliminate several rape suspects, including notorious crime boss James Whitey Bulger. He was somebody that they thought maybe did it, who had actually been in the area and had been arrested for rape in 1951. Another suspect whose DNA didn't match was Edward Edwards, who was arrested for burglary in Montana in 1956. See, it seems like Edwards would have admitted to it, because he talked about other ones that he did. Why would that be any different? Edwards, the suspect of a book by former Great Falls police detective John Cameron, was linked to Lover's Lane murders in Ohio and Wisconsin. 3 people were found to be genetically compatible, and included in that trio was a link to Gold, although Gold died in 2007. Let's see, what does it say up here? Through the use of forensic genetic genealogy, they say Kenneth Gold is the most likely suspect in the rape and murder, oh wow, of Patty Kalitzke. I'm glad I went back up and read that first part. The Cascade County Sheriff's Office has closed out what they believe may be the oldest cold case in the country after more than 65 years. Man, let's see. Through the use of forensic genetic genealogy, they say Kenneth Gould is the most likely suspect in the rape and murder of Patty Kalitzke and the murder of 18-year-old boyfriend Duane Bogle in Great Falls in early 1956. Wow. On the evening of January 2nd, Kalitzke, who was a junior at Great Falls High School, and Bogle, a Malmstrom airman, ventured to a spot west of Great Falls near Wadsworth Park along the Sun River. The next day, 3 kids found Bogle's dead body with a gunshot wound to the head face down next to his vehicle. The following day, a county road worker spotted what was identified as the body of Kalitzke about 5 miles away to the north on Vineyard Road. Okay, finally, somebody gave me a freaking... I didn't even know this one was solved. Oh, that's funny. That's the road that I thought they were talking about. But that park doesn't go to that road. So they probably drove it 5 miles. I'll put it right at the end. So she was just on the side of the road, just like that. Look how cool Montana is. Look at that. The investigation revealed semen in her body indicated she had been raped. Beginning in 2012, Sergeant John Cadner led the investigation to solve the murders. Through DNA testing, he was able to eliminate several rape suspects, including notorious crime boss James Whitey Bulger. Oh wait, let's see. Hill 57. Let's see where that is. Hold on. Ah, so it's a little bit further back. Well, they're just saying near Hill 57. Because that would be nowhere. That'd be like 2 miles from here. Another suspect whose DNA didn't match was Edward Wayne Edwards. In 2019, through a company called Bodie Technology, detectives began coordinating to have more testing done on the semen collected from Patty's body. The process tested and uploaded DNA from unknown sources. 3 people were found to be genetically compatible, and included in the trio was a link to Gould. Although Gould died in 2007 and his body was cremated, his children consented to submit DNA samples, resulting in a match. At the time of the murders, Gould lived about a mile from Patty and worked corralling horses just blocks from her residence on the southwest side of Great Falls. Gould had no known criminal history before or after the killings. During the interviews, family members said they had no idea of any criminal behavior on his part. He's the scariest type, man. He might have killed many more people. Just over a month after the killings, Gould sold the family property and moved to Tracy, southeast of Great Falls. And in July, he and his family were living in Geraldine. They lived in Hamilton from 1958 to 1967, when they moved to Alton, Missouri. God, how crazy is that? I was kind of thinking it was Ed Edwards, even though, you know. See what I'm telling you, though? That guy's just... Everyone says, oh, it was Ed Edwards. What did he say his wife's name was? Hold on. Just over a month after killing Gold, sold the family property, moved to Tracy, South. 3 people were found. Oh, hold on. I thought they said wife on there. Okay. I just want to see if this is him. Janet Marie Gold, 4, daughter of something, and Mrs. Kenneth Gold of Hamilton. Yeah, that's this. He's actually in the paper here. Look at this. They lived in Hamilton from 58 to 67, and this is an article from January 4th, 1960. The child. Janet Gold 4 dies, daughter of ex-residents. Janet Marie Gold 4, daughter of Kenneth Gold, Hamilton, former of Great Falls, there you go, died Sunday morning at Hamilton Hospital. The child had been ill about 3 weeks and had been hospitalized for 2 days. She was born December 9th, 1955. Oh, well, there you go. Man, that's crazy. See, his wife, she was born December 9th, 1955. His wife was pregnant all those months, has a baby, and then less than 3 weeks later, he's killing somebody after this baby was born. Isn't that crazy, the little nuggets you get looking at this crap? See, I guarantee it was like she was probably, you know, still recovering, and he was like, he hadn't had sex in 9 months or something, and you know, he's a psycho anyways. December 9th, 1955, and literally January 3rd, I think, is the date that they were killed. 2nd, actually. So that 3 weeks later. What do you guys think of that? Okay, maybe next time, Gene. We're still trying to work through this. Let's see. The family has lived in Hamilton for the past year after moving from here. In addition to her parents, survivors include 2 brothers, Roy King, and 2... That's just weird. What are the odds of that? Okay, so that's January 5th. And there he is again in Hamilton, 1959, for some reason. Let's see what this says. Great Falls has been helping with Hang, half-brother Kenneth Gold. It's weird how, who gives a crap? You know, they used to have these little sort of socialite articles like, hey, John and Cindy are having dinner with Barbara and Tim. You know, like, who gives a... I can't even believe that was a thing. Janet Gold, born December 9th. Yeah, that's so weird. 3 weeks after she's born, he's out killing people. There's got to be something about that. All right, here's a March 11th, 1953 in Great Falls. Great Falls Public Records. A son to Mrs. Kenneth Gold. So he had a son. So he was, you know, having kids at a rapid pace. 53, 55. Let me see what this is. I don't think this is the same guy in this one. It's not a very common name, I can tell you that. They are Kenneth Gold 634. Yeah. This is 64 in Billings, though, so a different place. Oh, and there's another baby they had. November 17th, boy 9 pounds, 14 ounces to Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Gold of Hamilton. And that's 1958, so they had a baby in 53, 55, 58. And here's 1963 in Great Falls. Wrong bed. Kenneth Gold went home shortly before 2 a.m. Saturday. Oh man, this is going to be something weird, I bet. Now that we know he's a psycho. Kenneth Gold went home shortly before 2 a.m. Saturday, tired after a hard day's work and prepared to retire. He turned on a light in his bedroom and found someone in his bed. Oh, God. Police answered Gold's call and moved Ed C. Grant, a Blackfoot Indian from Browning, to the city jail for the rest of the night. Man, for a guy that he's probably like in the paper way more than he wanted to be. And then it looks like they had another daughter in no, that's the one that passed away. She was 4 years old. She was born in 55. Let's see what this one is. The following drivers either forfeited $10 bail or were fined $10 for the night, having driver's license. Mrs. Kenneth Gold, 19. Yeah, that sounds about right. This is 1955. She's pregnant at the time. And early Chapel 28. Isn't that weird? Mrs. Kenneth Gold right here in Great Falls. It's May 8th, which is, she had 7 months later she gave birth, so she was 2 months pregnant. She didn't have a registration card, but she's in there. It's so weird how many times they're in the paper, though. Okay, this is May 7th again, or a different one. Now she's 20 years old. The other one was 19. Was charged with operating a car with no driver's license. Same one. Well, anyways, there you go. Is this guy? He's not alive, I'm sure, right? Let me check something out real quick. On Ben Verified. Let me see if he's in here. Yeah, you keep them busy pregnant, right? And you're out being a serial killer. I bet you there's a lot more cases related to this guy. What he did, you don't just do once. Killed 2 people, execution style, took one. No way. So it's Hamilton, Montana. Kenneth Gould. So if he was, let's try to figure out how old. Maybe he was 20 in 56. So let's say then he was born in 36. So he'd be, well, he'd be 80 something. This could be him right here then. He might still be alive. No, he's dead, right? Didn't they say he died? Hold on, let me put that in. Yeah, he died in 2007. Let me see if this is him. Yeah, it's weird. There's only one mention of a person with that name, even in Montana at all. And they have him down as 83. Born 1938. Does that make sense? It doesn't really make sense. Probably a different person. Well, let's see. Is Janet? Maybe Janet Gould. Let's try that. No. None of them are old enough. I know that children gave DNA. We read that, Carolina Girl, right on the air there. I'm trying to figure out how old he is. Because if he died in 2007, he should definitely be been verified, for sure. You know? But he's not. So, anyways. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Man. Tomorrow I'll definitely call in on that Portland case and see what the deal is there. You know, they might want to look at the other one that happened 2 years later. Yeah, I want to see where that guy's lived. There's no way in hell that was just a one-timer. I mean, I can't say that, but I can say, you know, killing 2 people the way he did doesn't seem like a one-timer. You definitely can just do it once. Yeah. So, anyways, you guys, I think I'm done with the show now. I hope you guys thought that was interesting, kind of working through those cases. All of them, I thought all of them were interesting. You know, the first one was short, but, you know, that they're all interesting. Zoink! Thanks, Stacy, and thank you very much for your generous super chat there. That one was it made up for a few rocky nights. Let's put it that way. Man, my Streamlabs bots are they're like trolls almost. I'm just getting to the another page over here. All right.
Yeah. Hey, what am I doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here? Rosy, pocket full of posies. Bring around the rosies, a pocket full of posies. Yes, the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Alright, take you to Zozo, Rita Schaefer, Sarah Beth Colagras, and then Stacy with a 6 times cat-eye donation. Jessica Schubach, Claudia Neubauer, Kathy Freidenmaker, Play-Doh, L.M., Angela Vincent, Carolina Girl, Miss L. Rodriguez, Liz Parsons, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howell of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles, Rita Schaefer, Lee D, Cammy Curry, Kathy Freidenmaker, Linda Howell, Georgina Stoliker, Marianne Ridnour, Swerves, Sandra Turner, Brianna Props, Rita Schaefer. Oh, and Sandra Turner with a cat eye. Lee D. Amber Maiden. Brianna Props again. Kentucky Shirt Guy. And Georgina Stoliker. Thank you so much. It's very appreciated.
Gosh, John boy, why do you sound so ominous?
Well, it's because of the music playing.
Well then don't play the music, you idiot.
Gosh, are you calling me an idiot?
Yes, I am. Wow.
Man, I'll tell you what, that Mary Lou, she can be pretty mean sometimes.
I'm so mean.
Yes, you are. You know, you guys are, you're not really seeing the light on Mary Lou, okay? Let's be honest. You're sort of cutting Mary Lou a break when in reality, she's not that nice, alright? But anyways, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I might try to do earlier. I mean, I don't know. The time of this show is sometimes better for me too, because when I get done at midnight, it's like, you know, it takes me a while to wind down, and then, but maybe like 6:30, so I don't know. It's hard to say. I know, like a lot of people, the Aussies like the a little bit later, but they're awake at least during the. Like if I do a show at 5, everybody's awake. Okay, might be 10 in the morning in Australia, But at least you're awake, right? If I do a show at 8 at night, it's 11 on the East Coast, and they're going to fall asleep. So, you know. Or I could do the same show twice. Okay? I don't think so. Although the second show would be a lot shorter because I would just do it by memory. Like we just kind of work through it. But yes, everybody, thank you guys very much. And yeah, vaccine seems to be working. And the natural immunity that people get by having COVID. So I think we're in a good place right now. Let's see what we're looking at here on the COVID U.S. graph. See what's going on there. Oh yeah, I mean, look at that. I have to put it on the screen, but yeah, look at this thing right here. It was you had up here 300,000 new cases a day up here, and now we're at 15, which is about the way it was back. It's actually half of what it was in April when it just started kicking in. So that's pretty amazing, right? 15 and then 30, 25. It's never been lower since the pandemic started than it is right now in new cases. Oh wait, look at that one. It got down to 6,000 on one of those days, but 15,000 just recently. And Oregon has only 4,000 cases in it right at this point. Washington, 10,000. I'd imagine Texas will be bigger. 20,000, it's not really that big. Florida, 16. If New York is less, that's only because everybody got it at one point. I mean, that place was a freaking petri dish. Yeah. All right. So, good work, everybody. Good work. We're coming out of it. Guess what? I couldn't believe it. Yeah, so I went into the Lowe's the other day when I was doing the Cindy, the case where I went over there with my car. I just walked right in. I didn't even remember to put my mask on. Right? I didn't remember at all. It was just absolutely crazy. Yeah, when I went there for Cindy Powers, I went right into Lowe's, just walked through, but it was kind of open. I walked through, and then I noticed that one guy was like, oh, he put his mask on and stuff when I was talking to him. And then I realized, oh shit, I don't have my mask. And then today, I went to the store, and I almost went into the door without it. And I went, oh! And then put it back on. So I'm glad I'm sort of starting to feel like sort of losing the almost memory, drilled in memory of just putting on a mask every 2 seconds, Because after all, the vaccines are supposed to make it so we're back to normal, right? No, it's not bad at all. Yeah. I would get Pfizer if you're not vaccinated. Definitely go out and get that one. But, all right, everybody, thank you guys very much. We will see you guys tomorrow with, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but we'll figure something out. All right, that's how it kind of is every day, but I find stuff. All right. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a...
Not even one?
Crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm the spreader with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
Hey, Gray, is the show over? Is the show over, Gray?
No, not quite yet.
Gosh, Gray, you don't have to sound mean like that.
I wasn't sounding mean. Did anybody think I sounded mean out there? Put a 1 if you think I sounded mean to Mary Lou.
Watch, Gray, a whole bunch of 1s are gonna pop up. You watch it. See, look at that. They all support me.
Oh, that's bogus, man. Paulette, Amber, I wasn't mean to her. What do you mean?
Yes, you were, Gray. Stacy?
Yeah, it was. I was going to say that too, Mary Lou.
I know, but I wanted to say it first.
Oh, okay, well, good for you.
Collaborate and listen. I sit back with his brand new invention. Something grab the hold of me tightly. Flows like a harpoon, daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn out the lights and I'll glow to the extreme. I rock the mic like a band. It'll light up the stage. About to jump like a candle dance. Those the speakers that bone, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly. Wanna play an old melody? Anything less than the best of the felony. Love it or leave it. Better give way. You better hit moves while the kids don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook from my DJ revolves it.
What the heck was that?
It was me rapping. Now the party is jumping with a bass kicked in and the bangers are pumping. Quick to the point, don't fake it. Cooking them cheese like a pound of bacon. Burning up, ain't quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear the cymbal with a hi-hat, with a souped up tempo. I'm on a roll, time to go solo rolling. In my 5.0 with my rack top down so my hair can blow. The girl is on standby, waiting to say hi. Reach the top, no, just rolled on, kept on. Push someone to the next stop. Up off the left, I'm headed to the next block. Buckles did y'all, so I continued to A1A, Detroit Avenue. Girls were hot, wearing less than bikinis. Rock band lovers, grabbing my bikinis, jealous. Cause I'm not getting mine. She was a gator, vanilla was a 9. Gunshots rained down like a bell. I grabbed another her with shells falling on the concrete real fast. Jumped in my car, slammed on the gas. Hey, where's my music? Gee, Gray.
Well, you should have sang it quicker, Mary Lou.
Well, I can't sing it quicker. That's just the way it goes with the beat.
Oh, God. Now you're making excuses, Mary Lou.
Gray, you're so mean to me, everybody.
Oh, my God.
Gee. Gosh, Gray, you're so mean. Gee.
You mean like in Golly Gee Willikers?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, how come you don't sound upset anymore?
Well, I have a short memory. I move on to other things.
Well, if you're able to say you have a short memory and move on to other things, don't you remember what you were just upset about when we talk about that?
Well, it's a good point, but it just doesn't bother me anymore.
Well, that sounds a little bit sociopathic, you know? now. It's all weird. It's almost like you were acting the part instead of just actually feeling that way.
Well, it's a little bit like I was doing, like the grifter does.
Oh, okay. Good point.
What do you mean I'm dramatic? I'm not dramatic at all. You're so mean, Carolina. Everybody don't like Carolina, okay?
Hey, what are you talking about? Everybody likes Carolina Girl. Why would they not like her just because you didn't like her? Right, Lee D, she's psycho, okay? Let's get this... That's the reality of it. Mary Lou is a psycho. She just raps better than John Boy does.
What do you mean? I can rap too. Watch this. Shit. Let me get in the mood. Oh, forget it. I can rap too. Let me try to do it. When you mentioned something that the holding me tightly flows like a harpoon alien nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll blow to the extreme. Like a mic, like a vandal, right up the stage and let the jump like a candle dance. But the speakers at home, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom, deadly. When I play a dope melody.
Anything less than the best of the film.
Well, believe it. Better gay way, better pulls out the dope.
Off the stage. Wow. Zozo is so mean to John Boy. It's incredible.
No, don't do it. I want to do a rap.
No, you don't get to. You know why? Because Zozo kicked you off the stage because you suck.
What do you mean I suck? You're so mean, Mary Lou.
Wow. Exit stage left even. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get you, gonna stretch you. If you try to blame me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Green is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a protector. Bull deflector, interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector. On his vector with all respect, y'all. What's very similar, Mary Poppins? The two cases? Sure, that was like an hour ago. Hey, let me try it then, okay? Yeah, I'm, the Uncle Jimmy. Yeah, I can do it too. Crime dissector, third ejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya, on a stretcher. If you try and play me like, hey, don't take my spot, Jim. Man, I'm the one that does the rap, okay?
Well, I can do it too, right?
No.
Anyways, I think that's about it. Everybody. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. Thanks for the generous freak super chat amazingness. Thank you guys very much. And we will see you guys tomorrow, alright? So as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Hello? Doesn't everybody still like me? Doesn't everybody still like me? Gee.
No, they don't.
Gosh, Gray. That's so mean.
Be safe out there.